Okay, so now we're going to talk about something a little bit different, not about machines for the industry and making tablets and softgels and whatever, but about botanical ingredients to be included in food supplements. For everyone that doesn't know me, my name is Dr. Daniel González-Hedström, and I am a scientific researcher from the R&D department of the company Pharmactive Biotech Products. That's not the Pharmactive that you have here in Istanbul. We are based in Madrid, okay? We're a Spanish company that makes the unique botanical ingredients always supported by scientific evidences. We're making clinical studies and in vivo studies in order to test our herbal extracts if they have finally a healthy effect. Also, we are a worldwide leader in producing high-quality saffron extracts, and which I'm going to talk about today, especially about Affron, which is the winner of the Nutrient Ingredients Award USA as the ingredient of the year for cognitive function. And also we have another premium saffron ingredient, which is called Affron, another saffron extract, which also in 2019 won the Nutrient Ingredients Awards Asia for the ingredient of the year for healthy aging. So let's start a bit about key features related to this and historical uses of Affron. And well, our saffron extract is produced in order to make herbal supplements related to depression, mood, and anxiety, which I'm going to explain later. Nowadays, the number of people suffering from stress and anxiety is increasing due to diverse causes, as can be the job pressure, money, health, and even it has been seen that 50 to 60% of absenteeism in the job places are caused due to the stress. So decreasing the stress or decreasing the anxiety is a really important thing nowadays, because it costs more than 136 million euros to the European employers. Also, there are a group of people which is really submitted to stress, which are our young people, the teenagers, because they have a lot of social pressure in the high school, and it's really important to get something in order to decrease the anxiety that this group of people suffer. And also 30% nowadays of competitive gamers take herbal supplements or different supplements in order to reduce the stress and improve their abilities. And also, due to the stressful situations, worldwide, around 25 to 35% of people are suffering insomnia. And you know that 5 hours of less sleep decreases the cognitive performance. So it's everything related at the end, stress, insomnia, and whatever. So let's talk about the origins of saffron. Saffron is not a spice which is known nowadays, but it was used as a spice for more than 3,500 years ago. There are texts of Solomon and Homer that mention saffron on it. Also, there are some doubts in which of saffron, the true origin of saffron, but interesting is that it has to be around Iran and Greece, where saffron starts at the beginning being cultivated as a flower to collect the spices. For example, here we have a fresco in which we can see different flowers of saffron, which has been found in Crete in 1600 before Christ, more or less. Also, at the beginning, it was not the saffron that we actually know, which is called Crocus sativus. It was a previous species that was called Crocus cartwrightianus. But well, after some years of cultivations, at the end we choose which is the best species of Affron to produce this spice. It is called the botanical god for something, and this is because it's really hard to obtain. The saffron spice is obtained from the stigma of the flower, which is a really small part of the flower. So do you need a really huge areas in order to cultivate it? So it's really hard to obtain, and its price is really high. For example, from the Spanish saffron, 1 kilogram of saffron could cost around 5,000 euros. So you can imagine why it is called the botanical god. Also, not only by that, but it's really hard to pick and to harvest, because it has to be done everything manually. You need someone to go to pick the flower, take the stigma, and later heat it in order to obtain the spice. So let's see what makes our ingredient Affron or the Pharmactive saffron extract different. What's our differentiated value? Due to our knowledge of working with saffron for more than 10 years, we are the reference for saffron extract in the market, and we work with the American Botanical Council as the adopters of saffron. And nowadays, due to the different final products that you can find in the market, more than 1 million people are taking Affron in order to get a positive mood and reduce their anxiety and stress. So let's see what makes Affron some special between the different saffron extracts that we can find. The bioactive compounds of our saffron extract are called lepticrosolites. It's standardized in more than 3.5% of lepticrosolites by HPLC. And what lepticrosolite stands for? Well, it's the complex of the typical compounds from saffron that gives saffron its typical smell, flavor, and color and taste, which can include, for example, crosins and saffron, which are the two main molecules typical from saffron. And also, these molecules are related to the healthy effects of saffron in reducing stress, tension, and anxiety. For some things like that, we were the NutraIngredients USA Awards 2020 as the best ingredient of the year for the cognitive function. So what we have done with Affron and what makes it so special? Well, we have an internationally patented Spanish patent for the therapeutic application in mood, stress, and anxiety, and also for its extraction process. And it's made with Spanish saffron. Most of the saffron extracts are made with Iranian saffron, but we wanted to use the Spanish saffron with our cultural heritage that we have there. Also, we have our own fields and our extraction plant in Madrid. And a really important thing is that we have the lowest dosage in the market. Only 28 milligrams of saffron extract per day, and comparing to the other ones, it's typically used 30 milligrams per day. We have already we have 8 clinical studies published nowadays related to mood and insomnia and stress, also related to menopause. And we have a unique dose response study. We tested different doses of Affron in order to test which was the best dose to use it at the end. Is clinical study in teenagers, and we have proven its bioavailability. We wanted to test it if the compounds of Affron at the end we can detect it in blood. Its absorption is really fast in only 1 hour. But well, let's get a bit deeper in that. It can be included in different galenic formulations, tablets, capsules, and thanks to its water solubility, even in syrups, sticks, sachets, gummies also. And also, its really low dosage makes it really easy to include it in the different formulas that you are interested in. So let's see the scientific evidences behind Affron. To know something more about it, what are the clinical studies that we have nowadays? Now, as I say, we have 8 clinical human studies, 3 of them related to mood improvement and stress and anxiety, 1 of them related to mood improvement in teenagers, and 3 studies related to occasional sleeplessness in order to improve insomnia symptoms. Also, one of the last ones is the mood improvement in menopausal women. So, well, let's see which was our first study, which was published in 2017. It was the unique dose response study, in which we tested 2 doses of Affron, 22 milligrams and 28 milligrams for 4 weeks. And we saw an improvement in mood-related symptoms, decreasing the levels of stress, anxiety, and fatigue. We can see here that measuring the POMS questionnaire, that there was a reduction, even with 22 and 28 milligrams, in tension, anger, fatigue, compassion, but with a higher significant improvement in the group taken with 28 milligrams per day. Also, by measuring another questionnaire, which is called PANAS, we saw that the positive aspects of mood were increased significantly after 4 weeks of treatment, and we decreased the negative one. So next, we wanted to test Affron related to insomnia, because if it's able to reduce anxiety and stress symptoms, and it is closely related to occasional sleeplessness, we wanted to see if it was able to decrease the symptoms of insomnia or improve the sleep quality. So in patients with insomnia, we tasted 28 milligrams per day of Affron for 28 days, and we saw that in 7 days, we see a significant improvement in insomnia-related symptoms measured by the Insomnia Severity Index score. Only in 7 days, we saw an improvement in insomnia. Also, we saw an improvement in restorative sleep, which means it's not only that you need less time to fall asleep or you're going to sleep more. You have also need to feel that you sleep better, to wake up and see yourself with more energy. So that's really important, and we also saw that compared to the beginning, the patients treated with Affron see a significant improvement in the restorative sleep questionnaire score. So also, it was well tolerated without any side effect, which is also a really important thing, because you know that typically drugs used for insomnia has a lot of side effects, can give you a little bit of hangover the next day, you can feel tired, but they didn't feel anything like that with Affron. And 96% of the participants were satisfied with their tablet specification in the Affron group. Next, we wanted to see if it was safe and effective to use in younger people, and we choose the teenagers, as I said in the beginning, is a group of people which is suffering a lot of stress and anxiety due to the social pressure. And we saw that by 8 weeks of treatment, we saw an improvement in anxiety and depressive symptoms in teenagers between 12 and 16 years old, specifically in the generated anxiety since the week 4, and also in the obsessions and compulsions of the teenagers with the things since the 2nd week of treatment. From the point of view of the teenagers and also from the point of view of their parents, because it's also important to see if their parents think that their kids are also okay and less stressed. So we wanted to test something more. We are not happy only with that. We wanted to see, because a lot of people start asking to us, can I take Affron if I'm taking actually an antidepressant drug? If it is safe to use, or it is going to increase the number of side effects? Well, for that, we have made a clinical study in which patients taking some antidepressant drug, we included Affron in the treatment for 8 weeks, and we wanted to test if there was more or less side effects, and also if we can improve the antidepressive symptoms, reduce the depressive symptoms. And we saw that after these 8 weeks of treatment, that the reduction of the depression rating scale was even higher in the group of people taking the antidepressant drugs and Affron compared to the ones that were taking only their typical antidepressant drug. We can see an improvement of 40% of the depression scale compared to the 21% in the group taking only the antidepressant drug. Also, the number of side effects was reduced in these 8 weeks of treatment, and the satisfaction ratings were really, really high. More than 70% of people were happy of taking Affron combined with their antidepressant drug, and would recommend to other one which is taking this kind of drugs, taking this herbal supplement. So now there's also a group of people which is suffering a lot of, which it has some mood alterations or suffering from stress, which is where a woman that when arrives to menopause, is not only due to, there's not only some physical things related, but also some psychological aspects. You know, that anxiety also increases, and we wanted to test it in that group of people. What happens if we can include Affron in order to improve these mood symptoms? So we made the treatment for 12 weeks in premenopausal women, and we saw an improvement in the psychological aspects of menopause measured by the Green Climatoric Scale. There was a 32% of reduction in anxiety symptoms, and mostly the same, more than 30% of reduction in the depression symptoms related to menopause, without any effect in the physical aspects, as can be the hot flashes. So it makes it a really good ingredient to combine it with other ones that has an effect in hot flashes, for example, the soy. And so it makes it a really good combination. And well, after measuring, seeing these really good effects in different clinical studies, we have to go deeply in which are the main mechanisms of action of Affron in order to induce these improvements in mood and anxiety. We can divide the mechanisms of action in 5 groups. First of all, It balances the levels of neurotransmitters. It has been seen that saffron compounds, saffron and crosins, are able to inhibit the reuptake of serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline, increasing the time of activity in the brain and also inducing these mood-related changes. It also facilitates the neuroplasticity, the function of neurons and also their survival, by increasing the levels of the brain-derived neurofactor expression. Also, due to its really high levels of crosins, it has a strong antioxidant effect. Crosins are a kind of carotenoids that are able to reduce the levels of reactive oxygen species, and the reduction of this oxidative stress in the brain is able to reduce the damage on it. Fourth, it's able to soften the brain signal response to occasional stress. In some stressful situations, the levels of some inflammatory cytokines and other kind of molecules are able to increase the apoptosis of the neurons and some other cells, as increasing the activity of the microglia in the brain. So saffron compounds are able to decrease the levels or the increase in the levels of these apoptotic markers. And also, finally, it's able to support a healthy inflammatory response by reducing the levels of production of some pro-inflammatory cytokines, as can be interleukin-6 or TNF-alpha. So, regarding our quality standards related to Affron, we use always saffron from Spain, getting used from our traditional harvesting of saffron. In Castilla-La Mancha, it's really common in Spain to grow saffron, and there has been grown for centuries, and we collaborate with our specific farmers in order to obtain our saffron. Also, it has been part of the cultural heritage that provides unique features to our saffron, really high levels of bioactive compounds, of saffronals and crosins. So we have our manufacturer plant in Madrid. So that means that we have a full control of the process. We can grant 100% of traceability of Affron production. And also we have the extraction process patented, which preserves the highest levels of actives for the longer time, which is called Affron Cooltech technology. This exclusive production process uses slow energy in order to obtain the bioactive compounds, and provides for at least 36 months of stability to saffron compounds. This technique allows us to use less industrial processing, zero chemicals, and less energy use. So it's really important to work always with less chemicals in order to obtain our product. So what makes Affron the best ingredient to improve the mood and reduce anxiety symptoms? Well, we are the market leaders of premium saffron extracts due to our knowledge related to saffron. And it's a completely natural solution in order to maintain the mood, improve occasional stress, and sleeplessness. We have already 8, because we published our last clinical studies in the past 2 months, 8 clinical studies published. And it's even tested in teenagers, in young people. Its absorption is really fast. In only 1 hour, we can detect the bioactive compounds in blood, so its effect is really fast, with the lowest dosage in the market, only 28 milligrams. It's from Crocus sativus from Spain, and we have full control of the process due to our proprietary extraction plant. So thanks to all of that, we were chosen as the ingredient of the year for the NutraIngredients USA Awards 2020 for cognitive function. So thanks for your attention, and if you have any question, we are going to be here the whole day and tomorrow. Thank you.